On September 27th of 2020, a devastating fire started in Northern California that caused over $12 billion in property damages throughout the region. By the end of the year, nearly 10,000 fires had burned through almost 4.5 million acres, more than 4% of the state's roughly 100 million acres of land, making 2020 the largest wildfire season recorded in California's modern history. The cause? A combination of unethical deforestation practices and the onslaught of harsher climate change. Let's take a look at the background of Pacific Gas and Electric, an electric company that provides natural gas and electric service to approximately 16 million people in California, and the main company responsible for the onslaught of the 2020 California forest fires.
Hey, I went to go check some of the transmission lines in Shasta County, and there are a lot of lines touching a lot of the trees. I think we might need some maintenance done to that site.
It'll be okay if it's still supplying power to the public.
Those trees are awfully close to the lines, and I'm afraid that the equipment is not running properly and needs some maintenance. We've had previous incidents, and that should make us more cautious, especially since the Camp Fire of 2018. That fire alone is considered one of the deadliest and most destructive in California's history.
The Camp Fire was due to the drought in 2018. We can't be fully at fault for that. And also, we are taking better steps now. Technically, we have to be, since we are still on probation from prior incidents. However, we need to pick and choose our battles. The budget isn't what it once was. For now, let's mark it as a low priority until we can get more hands on deck to address it. A couple months later...
911, what's your emergency?
There's a forest fire 9 miles southwest of Redding.
Firefighters are on their way. Get you and your loved ones out of there.
The fire continued over 87 miles of land until firefighters were able to stop it at Highway 36, about 9 miles east of Platina. The fire ended up killing 4 people that were found in their vehicles trying to get away. Multiple people were injured, including some firefighters who were present on the scene. Shasta and Tehama counties were affected the most by the fire. But how was this caused?
Order in the court. As of today, it is determined that PG&E were at fault for not maintaining the trees near the transmission lines. This resulted in a tree striking the lines in high winds that caused the fire. Now, PG&E, did you have some sort of maintenance plan that could have protected the civilians?
At the time, we did not see it fit to clear those trees. However, my coworkers are working hard to prevent further fires and the catastrophic losses that come with them. They have dedicated their careers to it. Criminalizing their judgment is not right.
We will see about that after we have Stephanie Bridget here from Shasta County District Attorney to discuss all current charges. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Thank you, Judge. Do you realize you're being held accountable for 31 charges, including 11 felonies? Do you also realize your failure was reckless and criminally neglectable and resulted in the death of 4 people?
I understand the severity of the charges. However, I don't see how our company is at fault. At the time, we performed the maintenance that we saw necessary.
But how many casualties is it going to take to get it right? You already caused 70,000 victims to file claims against your company for the devastation caused by your past misdeeds. In fact, that is still not resolved, as many are still awaiting payment from a trust fund that you haven't filed. In order for your company to pay the victims, you filed bankruptcy last summer. You have already pleaded guilty last year to 84 counts of involuntary manslaughter in 2018. Are you sure that any changes you implement will really be enough to ensure incidences are prevented in the future? Also, what about your company's ethical practices? You claim to hold up to the IEE Code of Ethics, but this event proves otherwise. The actions that occurred broke codes 1, 3, 5, and 9. Your company ignored regular maintenance on the transmission line even when the concern was brought up by a utility worker. If your company would have made the ethical decision to maintain the transmission line, this disaster could have been avoided. Unless the defense has anything else to say about this, I'm done, Your Honor.
No comment.
How do you plead?
We plead guilty, Your Honor, but let me be clear. I have been at this position since January 4th of 2021, and I plan on setting things right from now on. I'm here for a reason, and I will not let the state of California down again. We have broken many laws and ethical codes, but I bring a lot of knowledge and expertise from Consumers Energy.
All right, PG&E Company pleads guilty to manslaughter as well as 31 charges, including 11 felonies against. Court adjourned.
Now let's take a look at how this could have been prevented.
Hey, I went to go check some transmission lines in Shasta County, and there are a lot of trees touching a lot of the lines. I think there needs to be maintenance done to that site.
You're probably right. If the trees are in the way of our power lines, they pose a danger to the public and should be cleared. In fact, they probably should have been cleared before they had gotten this bad. Could you take care of the current problem areas that you see? I will confer with my peers and see if we can maybe implement some new strategies to be able to perform maintenance before things get too out of control. If PG&E had utilized more ethical practices, then this catastrophic and devastating disaster could have been avoided. By ignoring maintenance and marking the low-hanging trees as low priority, they were able to push off a lot of work rather than taking accountability and ownership of something that they needed to handle at that moment. Since then, however, they have listed a whole wide range of improvements that include using more advanced technology to avoid setting wildfires and helping to detect them quicker. The lack of accountability from PG&E prior to this year shows us that ethical neglect can lead to catastrophic outcomes. So be aware, be proactive, and be ready to act upon the first signs of trouble, or it could lead to a severe problem.